It was about 3 years ago that Warwickshire College decided to start its own in-house support team for its deaf students. Prior to this, they brought support in from an external agency. But with the growing number of deaf students that were coming to Warwickshire College on mainstream courses, the college felt that it would be better if they had their own in-house support team to provide the necessary support for all their deaf students. Our educational communicators support our deaf students in class in a variety of ways. They interpret the spoken word into BSL for our profoundly deaf students who use sign language. For our oral students, they use clear lip patterns. We also take notes in the lecture, group discussion work, we modify handouts, assignment briefs. We also support on residential visits, as one of our communicators has recently done so, and also on trips out during the day. And we also help our deaf students mix with the hearing students in the group as well.
Interpreting for deaf students in further education, obviously there's a wide range of courses available for the students, from the entry level right through to the advanced level. So you can support a student on any of those courses, but obviously you need to have an understanding of the subject before you go in, because there can be a lot of jargon, and you need to make sure that you understand the jargon and you've got signs for that jargon to enable the student to understand the jargon. What I've done in the past, which has been very helpful, is to create a glossary with them of all the terminology for the course. We've been and asked the tutors before the course starts if they could produce a list that will be used throughout either the term or throughout the course. We'll sit down with the student, explain the terminology bit by bit.
Within colleges, my role is really for note-taking for deaf people. There's two different forms of note-taking. There's manual note-taking or electronic note-taking. I only do manual note-taking. The main difference really is the preference for the student, whether they'd like their notes electronically, so they can look at them within the class. So they can, if they've missed the interpreter for some reason, they can actually just go and look at the notes that are there ready for them. And they can just be emailed to them straight away after the lecture's finished. But for a manual note taker, it's all paper, it's all handwritten. And some students don't like the handwritten version because obviously if they can't read your handwriting, they've got no access to the English that's on there. So my role is mainly is English support really for deaf people in the classroom, to provide them with the information that's being said by the tutor.
My services at Action Deafness are to book sign language interpreters or note takers or electronic note takers, palantypists. It can be anything that deaf people need for support-wise. If we don't have them in-house, I have a list of freelancers that I can contact. So it can cover any area of support that's needed for colleges.
Our student is profoundly deaf and uses sign language as the way to communicate. She has a good knowledge of her course that she's doing. She's just finished her level 1 childcare and is competent and understands the vocab and everything that's required, and is happy to go on to level 2 with the right support. But for her to translate her knowledge to paper is where the difficulties are. Importantly, it's terminology, recognising vocab words that are needed within the course, which is where our literacy and using the key skills comes into play, because it's focusing on being able to recognise words, spellings, simple sentence structure. So her ability to express how to care for children, what's needed, requirements, health and safety, she can relay all of that, and we use her, we help her to learn new signs related to the childcare. but the difficulty is for her to translate it into English. So what we've devised is that we're going to look at translating or transcribing work that she gives to us so that we can bring it up to the same level as her awareness, because her English isn't at the same level. Written English doesn't express her ability.